Key Mark and Calories Rant, and we're going to talk about shows that are overhyped. Well, I guess fully shows that I think suck. So yeah, and as actually while I was reviewing these, I actually just realized that the shows that I don't like is maybe the top three, but maybe let's not talk about that. But yeah, one of my favorite shows, which I actually like, but I do feel like it needs to end, is Detective Conan. It's a great show. It's about a teenagers that get sent to a child from some people, bad people, like doing something to him. And I just feel like it's been out since the 90s. You know, here is 2026 and it's still on. And he is yet to figure out what's happening to him. It needs to end. Great show though. I have to say I recommend everybody watching it. The movies are amazing. I mean, even in one episode, I think it was a movie where in the first 5 minutes of it, the guy is playing the piano and his house is on fire, and you're trying to figure out why is he dying. It was amazing. I don't remember like how, but it was such a great one. But it needs to end.
How many episodes is this one?
uh, so since it's been on, it's over 1,000. It has just as much as One Piece, which that's also another show that needs to end. Which the first season is, I heard recently it's going to be over, which is crazy. I don't remember when that started, but I know as I was a kid and that's when it was on air, and it's still. When is he going to find the One Piece? I know once he find it, it's over, but it it needs to end. They're slowing it down though, so I think the new season is coming like the end of the summer. But is there any shows that y'all think
Well,
that overhyped?
One Piece I never really got into. I wasn't a fan of it, so I just couldn't do that one. It's a bit much. I watched Detective Conan when you were watching it,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't actually sit down and look at every episode. So I don't think I can do that. For me, I'm going to go with Dragon Ball Z. I loved it as a kid, but after I remember sitting there watching it, and then they spent a week powering up before they did anything, and I got so bored. And I that was when we had to record every episode in order to see it. And I just got to the point I'm fast forwarding. They're still doing this. They're fast forwarding. Now I think I'm done. I never did any other the Dragon Balls, the other ones. I only did the main one up until was it Frieza was on the planet. They destroyed the planet when Frieza shot the bolt and he cut himself in half and stuff like that. That was when I was done. So I couldn't do it anymore. What about you, Calvis?
Oh, I'm definitely with you there. I mean, we used to get I had pen pals in Japan, so they would send us the VHSs, and they sent over an 8-hour VHS. I was home for work. I'm like, I'm gonna see what this is about. 8 hours of this show. So you gotta remember, these are like, 22-minute shows.
Yep.
8 hours of this stuff, man, and I'm like, nah. You power your finger up and launch a projectile at a planet. The planet explodes, but when you get in front of a person and you do the same move, he can knock it out of the thing. And this is where these crazy people get this idea that Goku can beat Superman.
Yeah.
Let's not even talk about that.
Can we please stop this madness? I don't care what god level you give him, you are not taking down the Man of Steel. And I'm a Superman hater. Okay? You're just not doing it.
So yeah.
You know? I mean, they do this crazy thing with them with this whole thing, and Goku this and Goku that, and I'm just like yawn. Um, Detective Conan, yeah, that's a little long in the tooth for me. After a while, I'm like, all right, dude, are we ever gonna really unravel this mystery about you and get you where you need to go to? Because now this is TikTok, bro. You know. So, let me see. Anything else that I could think of? One Piece. I've I've watched the Netflix live action. Of course, I didn't really watch the anime until I saw the live action, and then it's like 140 something episodes. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just you do not have enough stuff to keep me interested about these pirates and these crazy little people that you keep throwing up in. I mean, how, well, obviously for a while you guys can keep going with it, but I haven't, again, lately, um, I haven't really seen anything that really pumps me up. I'm a little upset that, like we get Sakamoto, right? Sakamoto days.
Yeah, the first season was good. The second season I thought was okay.
Yeah, I know it's like it's falling off. Then we got you got that great, that great first little thing, and you're bopping with it, and it took you a while to get into the second one, and now they're gonna give us a third season, and I need to take this. It's the boss. I'll be right back.
Okay, so I guess there's another show that I also think that's overhyped. Well, actually, I can piggyback off of what you said. I don't even know now.
What I said about Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z. So talking about the power up, there is what I don't like about certain shows is when they're powering up. It's the same thing with like Sailor Moon and all that. You're watching the person power up, and then but you're not attacking them. And one show, which is not anime, we talked about in the last episode, was Avatar. I liked when Aang was powering up and Azula that did the lightning thing.
And that's
Yes, that was amazing. That is one of the only shows that I know that actually was like, hey, mid of they're powering up and they're gonna sit there and just like stop it. I haven't seen on anything because it's just still weird that they're taking like 5 minutes to get dressed and all that, and all these other shows, and then the bad guy just sitting there watching them. Or even another show that I feel like is overhyped is Naruto, where they're spending the time explaining why they're being bad and all that. I was watching Naruto Shippuden, and I remember when I stopped watching, I was recording the episode because I was so happy to watch it. And I remember they're walking in the sand, and then it took them 3 episodes for them to actually get to the bad guy. One episode of them walking, the second one of them, still, finally getting there, talking to the person, and at the end of the third episode, that's when they actually fought. And that's when I stopped recording it, deleted all the episodes, and I never watched it again.
I was gonna say I did start watching that, and then I was realizing that each episode, the beginning,
Yeah.
they were just trying to get to the school,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is taking forever. And then they're talking about their whatever their chi or whatever fighting styles they have to get to the school. And then I think I saw 3 episodes, and then I stopped watching that one. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think that's one of the things that really gets kind of bad, where like because Dragon Ball Z is notorious for do that, and they'll give you this huge explanation, and the guys are like across the field from each other,
Mhm.
and the villain is always monologuing, and
Yeah.
then the narrator will come in, hurry Goku before, and then he's in some type of capsule chamber or hyperbolic chamber or running Death's Road on the back of a stone dragon in the sky. It just gets to the point where, okay, seriously, it's time to let some of this go because now I'm getting super annoyed at the craziness. And let's not bring up Mr. Popo. I have a problem with a character called Mr. Popo in your anime.
Yeah.
It was blatantly obvious in the '80s when the black guy came out with those pink lips.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think my first one was Claudia in uh Robotech.
I
right?
think
Okay.
I know what was that.
Yes.
Roy Foker's girlfriend, and I kept saying, you know why they killed him? You know why he killed him, right? You know what I mean? So, uh, the characters and the monologuing and the I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I'm just getting uh older and more mature with my content that I just, you know what I mean? If you're not really just bringing the pain or whatever else, I kind of like, all right, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You're taking way too long. You know, it's like that. What was that one show? Oh, oh no, that was show the movie Austin Powers. I'll go back in my room, get the gun, come back, bang, he's dead. We don't need this elaborate, you know.
Yeah.
And you go way out of your way to prove the importance of these characters. Um, God, I think about especially with Dragon Ball Z, it just kills me. You know, you get Frieza talking crap, you get uh uh even Vegeta at first, you know. And of course some of these villains turn out to be heroes, which even make it even worse. Then
Yeah.
they start having babies with some of the hero women, which again makes it worse. And then they had time traveling kids.
Coming back from the future.
It's
Yeah.
because it's so
Yeah,
long. I'm trying to like come up with fresh new ideas.
It's not fresh.
right?
I know
But
it's not.
no, no, but some of the, you know, and that's what I like about what you do, Zoe, when you give us, sometimes animated takes us out of our comfort zone, but at least it's different. You know what I mean? Because the animated I'm looking at now, I'm just kind of like, I'm shaking my head like, you know, can you give me something a little bit better? Immediately, I wanted to go to see Demon Slayer in the theater, but I never got around to it.
See,
Yeah.
I was actually going to talk about that. I feel like I like Demon Slayer, but I do feel like it's overhyped. I will say that.
Okay.
Or
Well,
it, I'm gonna be honest. Just more of the simple fact is, I think just because it's popular, that's why people are like, "Oh, I'm this, this, and this." But I'm like, did y'all really like sit down and watch the show? you know, it's eh, I enjoy it, but it's not.
what's
I'm
his
not
competition?
hungry. That's
Think about his competition. It doesn't really have any competition.
it
Look
doesn't.
at the crap that they're generating now.
Yeah,
This became a blockbuster movie.
yeah,
It did more than most of like any of the action movies that we would come out with. And, you know, again, not to shift and start crapping all over Superman, because that's not what I'm saying. It's just that at one point, these were big movies. If you put a
yeah.
superhero out on the screen, you were guaranteed to make some moolah. Didn't matter who, what, where, whenever. Now, anime, and even worse, you got things like Zootopia making billions of dollars.
It is.
And I'm, you know what I mean? Uh, it kind of boggles my mind. So I will take that or a Godzilla movie any day of the week, um, until I guess we find our footing on where we want to be. Um,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Chainsaw Man. Notice how that did not. It came out and it was like I think it was number one for 1 or 2 weeks, and then it just no one talks about that no more
True.
that's
because
true.
it wasn't as big as Demon Slayer.
They thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Because I
Hmm.
mean, I didn't. I wanted to go see it just because I like Chainsaw Man. But then I
Yeah.
was like, I just wait until it gets on Crunchyroll.
See.
It,
So, so that's when it's overhyped too.
yeah,
I would
Yeah.
say the thing I think is overhyped. I watched Full Metal Alchemy, the first one. I didn't watch Brotherhood,
I like Brotherhood.
but I thought I thought they were both kind of overhyped to a point. You know, I did watch it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as some of the other stuff I watched. I only watched because other people kept saying how good it was,
Yeah.
and I didn't think it was all that great. It was okay, you know, but I didn't think it was. Oh my God, I have to see this show. So I thought that was overhyped when people kept telling me how good it was. and I didn't feel that way when I looked at it.
So is it just because people it had such a high hopes for it,
Yes,
and then it just didn't meet that?
it didn't meet that
Yeah,
expectation. When other people were
I can see
putting it
that.
out there, I didn't feel the same way when I watched it. So that to me is kind of overhyped. And I know earlier you said, what is that? SAO,
Yeah, SAO is
Sword Art Online.
it's way overhyped. But then I'm gonna be honest though,
I
I don't
watched
really
it
think
all
it's
and I
as
enjoyed it.
see no we're not. I actually don't think it's as overhyped as people think it is because every time I talk to like my friends, they are into anime and all that. They're blurred. So I just feel like they say the same thing I say. The first season and the first half was good. After that, once it comes to Gun Gala and all that, that's when the show sucks. So, it's hype enough to what it needs to be in the beginning. But once it continues on, then I don't know anybody that actually truly watched it except you.
So you're saying it should have been
So
better.
is it that
Yeah.
does the writing style change? Because we've noticed that, like, I mean, like some of the older shows, right? I went back to some of these older shows before COVID hits, and it's written a certain way, it's done a certain way, all except for, I mean, we're not talking about anime. I'm talking about regular American TV shows, right?
Yeah.
They're written a certain way. Anime kind of stays kind of the same, where you have this male lead, but you've always had in anime, you've always had kick-ass girls. You've always had the girl. Wow. Mm. Hope none of y'all heard that. Anyway, so um, you know, and then all of a sudden COVID hits, and now you got this big change where the writing style changes up. People start Main characters start taking a uh secondary role,
Yeah.
and certain people are all pushed up to the forefront, and it changes the whole dynamic. Now I'm starting to slowly see it kind of slowly reversing itself, kind of like changing course, correcting itself, where it's, well, we're going to give you guys equal billing, and we're going to stop saying this. With anime, though, we've always had that, central male character or whatever else. Um, of course, when we have vampire anime, we get the more androgynous characters. Um, half the time you can't tell what sex they are or whatever else, and anybody can be in love with anybody because they're vampires or whatever else. And sometimes for me that slows down the story because I'm waiting to see somebody rip somebody's head off or fight a werewolf or a demon hunter come in, and you know what I mean. So, um, but the writing styles, I think, start to change up, and then especially when you get into like 2 or 3 seasons, because that's when they want to go back and tell you the backstories, the characters that you didn't even care about.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen. I,
Hmm.
the first season was great. And then the second season, where I'm actually having a hard time watching, 'cause I think the third season came out and I just haven't got to it yet because it was the flashback of, the school time. And then when it comes back, I don't like shows that do that. So that's where I am at the episode where they're back at, the regular time. But then I'm just so disappointed with the flashback that I'm just like having a hard time watching. I mean, it's a good
Yeah, it's like,
show.
no,
but
but see, my thing is, please, and everybody does it. It's like this trendy thing. This whole first season, I'm going to give you the meat of it. Now we're going to go back, and this episode will start off, and you're like, what the hell is this? Why
yeah,
are we back? You know, in the '80s, and then they show you, oh, that's their parents, and
yeah.
now we gotta figure out their little traumas. I didn't want all that. I
Uh-huh.
didn't want all that. You could have given me that in a flashback
Yeah.
in the first season. Why give me a whole episode? And then it at the, like, the last 30 seconds they flash forward to, and that's why I must keep going.
Yeah.
Didn't care. Did not care.
I was gonna say
Didn't
they
care.
did that in what is that show? The animated series of Harley Quinn when they went back in time, and that was annoying. So it happens in a lot of shows.
It does.
Yeah, that's because they all jump on that trendy little train of, ooh, let's do it this way. Remember how at first for a while it was always like that, where the shows would start off. with the first 3 or 4 episodes just to show you what happens to the main character, how they involve with whatever situation, and then they want to go back and explain something. What's really annoying is when you get like knee deep into like third season, and then they give you a whole episode of this fucking side character who nobody cared about,
Yes.
Yeah.
just to give you some definition of who this character is and why he's being or she's being treated so poorly by whoever, and then they just fold them right back into the story. And you're like, so we're not doing anything with this character anymore?
Yeah.
Or they serve the purpose of showing them why they're betraying everybody because many years ago they fucked up over here and now they're paying the price and the consequences that they have to betray all their friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like
Yes.
I think the longer animes are the ones that it seems like after a while that's when you get like overhyped and stuff. And then remakes, I do feel like that sometimes it's a little bit too much. Like
On the yeah.
yeah, like for instance, Hunter X Hunter. I watched the original, and then when the 2011 came, which was good, but I thought it was unnecessary. Same exact show, nothing changed except they extended another arc, which they could have did that and just added in another arc to the original, remaster it. There's a lot of shows that do that, and
Yeah.
waste of time. I know you said one Rama that
Ramna. They
yeah
remade it and instead of giving her red hair, they gave her pink hair and it's the same episodes and I'm sitting there because I went to Tubi because well, Mark, a couple of years ago, you were like, "Yeah, just go to Tubi," and I'm like, "What?" So I sat here, and I'm like, "All right," and it's the things that I remember because again, back in the late '80s, early '90s, we were just getting into it. We had to go to Suncoast Video, and we had to wait years to get volume 2 of a 6 volume set of something.
You had
So
VCRs, one on top of the
yeah.
other. Put it in, press
Oh my
play,
God, man.
record on the other one.
We were sitting there doing all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? And this is when I discovered that I was really getting more social conscious into the things because to me, there is this movie called or this anime called was it OVA, original video animation or whatever. But it was called Three Times Three Eyes. And it had this character called Bell Dandy in it, and it was a love story. So you got all these college guys sitting here waiting for this next episode of this poor thing that's going through all these issues, and we're engaged. It was a great story. You know what I mean? A little male centric, but it was a great story. Nowadays, you don't really get all these great stories because it's always kind of the same little bit of runabouts. So we had Ramna, which was about the boy that falls into this lake of the dead, where whoever drowned in there, you transform into after a certain period with water, hot water, cold water, and all this other mess.
yeah.
They're remaking it. I'm like, cool, I'm going to get a whole new story. No, we're just going to piggyback off this storyline and update it a little bit. Instead of making the hair red, we're going to make it pink. Um, you know, the same thing, but in a way that's a little weird because when Ramna changes from a guy to a girl, you can still say he has feelings for Akane.
Oh yeah.
She's starting to have feelings for him. So now I'm sitting here with today's climate going, is this trying to say like this is a metaphor for it to, oh, what I mean? You can't enjoy the anime like it was when it first came out, where it was just, well, that's really bizarre and weird. And you liked the bizarre and weird, so you kept going with it. You had the raunchy little grandfather running around stealing panties and brassieres. You had the grandmother that was so wise that she was trying to keep everybody in check, but kept hitting them over the head with her little stick. And they were tiny little people. I mean, they were little, like, literally little people. Um, I missed that fun stuff. And then we got what, Dandy the Dan, which was, for me, was like, wow, this is new. This is refreshing. This is great. I like the grandmother. She's my favorite. You know what I mean? Smoking a cigarette, laughing, and you know what I mean. But she's a powerful character in the thing, but she's not the lead. I like that. Um, I don't know, but when you keep changing up the theme song every season to something,
Yeah, I don't like. I like the first season's theme song, but after
yes,
that, it just got bad. I don't even watch the theme song anymore when it comes on.
But see, I think the thing is because the other one was so good that we were expecting something that's good, and then the next theme song was slow. Because that's what it
yeah,
is.
Yeah,
It just that height, and now it's just like I'm okay with them changing theme songs because every anime does it for a
yeah,
certain amount of episodes. It's a different theme song. I mean, even in
yeah.
my favorite anime, like kind of I feel like it's of all time, Angel Beats. I mean, even in like episode three, I think it was four, or whatever, when the girl she like accidentally kills herself, but the theme song is her singing at the end. She hangs herself. Hilarious. I like that they changed that, and that was different. They incorporated into the episode.
you just the girl killed herself in the episode
Yeah. Oh, so
accidentally.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest though. I was thinking, you talked about it last week, where well, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, where we could watch like an anime together. I was
Yeah.
thinking Angel Beats, just because it has action, it's death, it's sad, and it's only 13 episodes. It's
No, I mean that's perfectly fine. I would love to be able to do something like I
yeah.
said. Everybody else probably won't be able to see us. I
Mhm.
mean, they'll see us and our reaction as we're talking about it, which will be
Right.
cool because then
Yeah.
we won't get struck in or,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not that we make money anyway, but still, at the same time, I think it would be kind of a good thing for us to do where,
Mhm.
you pick a time that we can do that with and we can sit there and kind of go over it and then, uh,
I mean, it's a show that I've seen. Like, I rewatch it all the time. Actually, for Christmas one year, I got it on DVD, and it's pretty much about a show where everybody is dead. They're in purgatory. So that's why in like the third episode, she kills herself, but she's already dead. So in the first episode, in like the first 5 minutes, the guy wakes up and he walks up to this girl called Angel, and he's like, she said you're dead, and he was like, well, show me. So she stabs him right in the heart. So hours later, he wakes up in the infirmary. That's because they're in school, and he's like, blood and all that, and he didn't understand why he was alive. And then, the guy comes in, accidentally dies because he goes through the trap, so he goes through the wall. It's funny. Even in like the second episode, spoiler or whatever, but a lot of people die in that episode. you know. So it's for her to sing the theme song and to change, like they change it up to the different singer. That's what they're doing, and that's when she like takes the chord. She gets super happy that the end of her song that she sung, and then that's when she accidentally kicks it in the ceiling, and then it wrapped around her neck, and that's how she died. And then
oh, okay.
everybody's just like staring at her like, wait, what happened? And then the guy's like, nobody cares that she just killed herself. They're just like, oh, it just happens all the time. So
Well, you're gonna have to set it up when you want to try to do that, so we can make some arrangements.
yeah, I mean,
And
I became an organ donor because of that show. I love it. No.
well, look, well,
I know.
I don't know about all that. I think I'll be taking mine with me.
I thought that show changed my life.
Okay.
But I
Well,
feel
we'll definitely have to set that up where we can do a kind of a watch party on something.
hmm
Um, and let everybody see our reactions to how we're watching it.
All right.
yeah.
Ah, I think it'll work.
I think that'll be fun. Well, I guess that will be it of today, unless anybody has any more shows we talked about. But I feel like we talked about a good amount.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
especially those because those needed to be talked about. 'Cause they
Yeah.
just
Yeah. That's why I said in the beginning that, a lot of people count those as like the top animes that we actually talked about. And for real, like they were overhyped, honestly.
I think so.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because there's times when I just completely stop watching something, but
Hmm.
everybody else
Yeah.
is still talking about it.
I tell my mom this all the time. I'm not that curious because they killed the cat.
Just
So I do not care.
Yeah. It gets to that point where you just have to say, duh, I can't do it no more. And I had to do it for a couple of shows, and I hate to say this. If I get to that theater and that Mando movie's there, at least I'll be walking out with my souvenirs, being okay. I'm happy. I got what I came for. You know what I mean? Because it's all about getting your popcorn bucket and everything else now. You want to push the product on me, I'll buy it. But I am not going to praise your movie. Hopefully we'll get some good anime out there. Um, they were talking about another Sakamoto Days. They were talking about maybe doing a live anime or that.
it's a live action coming out on it, so I'm kind
Yeah,
of looking forward to that
Oh yeah.
because they've already filmed
yeah.
most of it, I think. So we'll have to see what it looks
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Zoe, take us out.
Okay, well I guess like and subscribe. See, I remember now.
like.
And then I still have a lot of ideas. So just see you next time. I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah. Bye.